What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Story Seller Jet, with another episode of the That's So Fire Talk Show. And today we have something special for you guys. Are you ready? This is the second time, actually, I'm having Benmont Locker on the show, That's So Fire. Actually, he was the very first one, actually, to transition that from being, a measly podcast, old school podcast, to like a talk show. And it's kind of fun also here because you did the podcast in the other studio the last time. So it's kind of really cool to upgrade over here. So today's discussion is going to be awesome. We're going to be talking about some really cool and amazing things on how they were able to grow their community within like less than a year to make, over $1.5 million. All and the amazing coaching that they provide also. I know Benmont and Joe and Eric have had tremendous impact on me. So I'm excited today to share some of the things that they are working on and why it would be so cool to be able to work with them as well. So Benmont, super excited to have you here. Welcome back to the show.
I said this is the neighborhood podcast, man. We're neighbors, and then we get the time to jump in here together, and the place looks sick.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Anybody out there, like, this is a live deal. But, I mean, we are immersed and surrounded with just tech, design, lights everywhere, and the ability to film these type of things for anybody who has a community or wants to create content. This place is top tier.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And it's been so much fun working with you guys as well. We've filmed Brewer Method, Ramp Academy here, and some other things over here. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity to work with amazing individuals like you. So super grateful.
As are we. I think in our budget now each month, we have like a line holder, and it includes like a flight for Joe and then like a day at Jets.
Let's go.
That's just it. And it's we always look forward to spending the time coming in here. You continue to reinvest technology, top tier, your crew. We've got 2 generations in the building today now.
Absolutely.
We just got to meet little Jeff Jr. in here, but it's always just a very welcoming, productive place. And what's awesome is now you guys have continued to streamline and build out the ability to do stuff live. Like you're filming, editing, and producing, and people walk out of here with a finished product in an hour. Yep.
It's been fantastic. It's really cool to see how we can innovate and do things different and also doing things faster. And a lot of those too, and we're going to talk about that, has been inspired by you guys and also inspired by CG. Like being surrounded by fantastic people, very smart people, you tend to elevate your game too.
Helps, man.
So before we dive deep into the conversation today, I would like for the people that might not know who Benmont Locker is, to do a quick introduction, share a little bit about, who you are, the things that you've been able to do, and where you are at today.
Very cool. I like when other people usually do them because they make you sound really, really good. But today we'll run it from the top. So as you mentioned, Benmont Locker, not many Benmonts have a little bit of a unique name. Thanks to my mom, who actually is hiding behind the camera here today as well. So we'll bless her with that.
Yeah, let's
Shout
go.
Out, Mom.
We should have a camera that should have turned and point to her.
Cam.
Yeah, a crowd cam. Maybe that would be the next thing.
The next upgrade. All right, trademark that. We get a crowd cam. Originally from Pennsylvania. worked with Eric Brewer and his team up in central Pennsylvania doing the investing side of things for 5 years, was his COO for 3 or 4 years. Did, I guess, a reasonably good enough job to get booted out of there to go work on bigger, better projects and continue to grow and elevate things. No pun intended. Got involved with CG. We built out the Elevate community, which is the newer investor community for people doing 2 to 10 deals a year. And then we wanted to continue to inspire and go on the journey of community and education. And in a world full of gurus and such, we spent the last 12 to 15 months being super intentional about how to effectively deliver like a top tier community. And then we said, what is our unique skill set and what does the world or industry need right now? And we honed in on what we're really good at and what people really need, which was building a sales machine and all things encompassing. Like if you want to be in the investing space, skip AI for day one. It's important, but skip it day one. Skip the fancy CRMs, all of the other things. Get really good at sales and be impactful. And that's what we spent the last 15 months doing based upon our 19 years of deal flow, credibility, trust, and history of doing these things. So.
This is fantastic. There's so much to unpack over here, and I cannot wait for us to talk about it. But I would be remiss if we don't give a shout out to our friends at the Collective Genius. And always, when I get the opportunity on this stage to give them a shout, I always do that. So you've been helping with CG Elevate, and obviously now they have like over 4 different groups,
yep.
which include CG Elevate, CG Select, CG Premier, and CG CEO.
Yep.
But you and Joe are the main guys that really run CG Elevate.
Depends who you ask, but yeah, we're the facilitators in there that help put on that show on Team CG side. So,
yeah. So for the people that are watching this, can you give them a quick synopsis of what CG is and also what the amazing things that you guys are teaching at CG Elevate?
Yeah, so Collective Genius, aka CG, is a community. It is an investor community where it is designed to help share similar experiences of 400 to 600 other organizations that are top tier. And we get together a couple times a year in person, and we have weekly to multiple times a week specific calls. And essentially, you're building that network of people who either have been through what you've been through, are going through it, or right, are a proven success of where you want to go. And you are joining a place where you can grow personally, physically, financially, professionally, with guided peership all the way through. And depending on deal flow and where you are in your journey, there's a place for you at any point in there.
That's fantastic. Now, can we talk about what exactly does CG Elevate and for who it's for? Fantastic. That was great.
Yeah. So Elevate is cool because it's 2 years old now, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You would know as good as I do, but 2 years old from its conception. And when we started talking about Elevate, it was because the OG CG was like all the seasoned dudes that were doing it already. Mm-hmm. And it was where they've spent 10 years and have been all together and have big businesses. And it got to a point where then we needed to add the space and the place for people who are newer in their journey. They didn't fit in there, and then it was against kind of the core values of building a community to not offer something for everyone. So Elevate was designed to do exactly that. It is to elevate you from where you are today to where you want your business to go. And our mantra inside that community is to double your deal flow. So if you did 2 deals last year, like we're going to get you to 4. We'll get you to more, but minimum. If you did 10, that's phenomenal. But what would 20 do for your life?
Yeah.
Right? Like 10 deals went from
very impactful.
Yeah, a couple $100,000 to all of a sudden now you're pushing $1 million in business.
Yeah.
And everyone goes through that phase. It's the foundation, it's the coaching, it's the collaboration to get you there.
Yeah, and it's been so fantastic to be able to see that firsthand, because I do a lot of the testimonials and things like that for CG members.
Yeah.
And I've had several members coming into my room sharing how they were able to double their deal flow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is fantastic. Like, for them to just start, get the knowledge from you guys, being able to grow. And it's not an easy feat too. And that shortened the whole process for them too. If they were trying to do all of that on their own, that would have taken them like 5 to 10 years to be able to accomplish that. And you guys helped them do that in less than a year.
Yeah, that or the mistakes you would make. Like, why?
Yeah.
Struggle is a choice, we always say.
Yeah.
So, right, you can do it, and you can be the guy that figured it out on your own, and I commend that to some extent. But Like, do you need to? We had a buddy of ours, Jacob Matlock. Shout out to Jacob. He graduated out of Elevate, which was phenomenal. You probably did a testimonial, but like my man came in doing a couple deals, trying to hack through investing with a W-2, and in 12 months, we lost our guy though. Like he's out. He graduated. But he left his W-2. He's a full-time investor, right? Has a 7-figure business on the cusp of, and runs a real business. He went from like a mess of trying to do deals to like, dude owns a real estate investing business and his life is transformed. And outside of the quantity or the number of deals, it's amazing to see the impact that has, you know, for him, his family, his kids, like everybody along the way.
Yeah, this is fantastic. And this is so cool too, because you've not only helped other people doing that, and you've done that for yourself too with Rimp Skills Academy, which has been fantastic to kind of seeing you guys' journey from like when you were starting that and to now in less than a year reaching over $1.5 million. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Kind of maybe you're going to spill the tea with me, you know, sharing all the secrets on how you were able to achieve that and sort of in such a short time period. So first, let's start talking about what is Rimp Skills Academy.
Yeah, we've boiled that down to it's a community, a place to go where we build sales machines. And like, what is a sales machine? That's fully encompassing having a consistent and repeatable sales process. It is the constant of your business, right? When there's so many variables of, is marketing good? Are the market conditions good? Are my people good? When everything's variable, it gets very tough to manage a business. So when we go in and we put in the sales machine, it's the engine, it's the heartbeat of the organization that remains the same, gets maintained, and is well running. So then everything runs through there, and we start to have this baseline that tells us what's working, what's not working. So we go in and we help establish that. There's nothing more important, regardless of the age of your business, than revenue. Revenue is always in first position, which comes from sales. And I'm a self-proclaimed nerd, right? Like very objective, data-driven, love marketing, not a great sales guy, but I have the utmost respect for what the importance of a structured sales process does. And that's what we help build so that there is a winning culture. The results are good. People know how to train. Everybody speaks the same language. We know what winning looks like. It's far beyond scripts and talk tracks.
Absolutely. So now the $1 million question, how were you able to start that from scratch? And obviously you've had a lot of experience helping people solve that, but now focusing on the business to grow it from 0 to 1.5 in less than a year, that's a huge feat. Can you share with me some of the tactics that you've used to help you grow it consistently month over month?
Yeah, I think you have to find something that you're passionate about doing, one that you can have an impact in. Because like people are only going to pay you for your expert ability and skill set in whatever it is, right? Yours is creating content, telling stories, and capturing them. If you switched, you would struggle regardless of the money you wanted to make without having that experience or expert knowledge. I don't know, man. Maybe the gurus do it online where it's like they've never done a deal, but then they teach how to do deals. I couldn't do that. And we have over 4,000 transactions in our organization under our belt. I've been a part of over 2,000. So like, actively do deals every day. On the way here, I approved to purchase a house, and my mom was like, you don't even see it, and you didn't do it. And I was like, well, the team does this, and right, these are the controls in place. So we're actively doing the business that we are preaching. So we came into this idea of education with like, hey, here's what we're good at, and let's go share that with the world. That translated to an Excel spreadsheet and a trip here 13 months ago where we had the framework of what we wanted to film, what the modules were going to be. And then we spent a day writing and building out that content. And that was iteration 1 of what the Ramp Academy was.
That is fantastic. So for anybody that is watching this video that wants to start like a coaching business, what would be the very first step of what they should do to kick off that process?
Yeah. What are you great at? Is there a need for it? And like, what is it? Because sometimes we build ideas for ourselves. Like if you want to build something that you think people need, you're like self-fulfilling your ego at that point. Like what do people want? What do people need? Because that ultimately they're paying for it, and they have to enthusiastically pay for it, and then they need to thank you for it, right? And leave you good reviews and tell other people about it. So one is just honing in on what it is that you do, and you can't be great at everything. So like pick a thing. And then who is going to buy that? And how do you tell them about it? And how do you show them that information? Is like, that's the foundation, I think, without overcomplicating it. Our buddy Tom Kroll, sell it and then build it. So don't worry about it being perfect. Say, I do this. This is effectively what the outcome is. And then, do you need this? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's get started.
Yeah. Actually, this is one thing I've learned from Tom Crow, but you were probably the very first one that taught me that, taking imperfect action.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they want everything to be done at the top tier, which is good. You can build to that, but that can also be the culprit or the thing that prevent you to grow if you're kind of waiting to have everything perfect first. Can you share some of the steps and things that you were able to do by taking imperfect action?
Yeah, and we still over perfected the things of things that didn't matter. We were like too worried about it. So hindsight, a lot of those were self-fulfilling prophecies that we thought we needed and we didn't need. We could have launched a thing with like some live calls and got going and gained feedback and then built what people were asking for. But we, to get started, it was just like, you have to, and I think this is the piece that's missed often, is you have to be able to do the business. So when people do all that prep work, then somebody says, okay, like I've found that people get stuck and they physically can't do it. So that's like you saying, oh dude, I've got 10 epic cameras, I've got a studio. And then I'm like, I'm in. And then you're like, yeah. And then I like do that. I'm like, I'm still in. But at the end of the day, like, can you do the thing that you're talking about? And I think that's like point one of launch, is being able to like talk about it. And then step two is do it. Because somebody's going to say yes. It's kind of like in the house selling side of things and that's why we chose sales training. People are like, oh, is it direct mail or PPL or should I do this? And they perfect all the things that don't matter. Then the phone rings and it's like, hey, Mr. Seller. And they fumble over what they do, who they are, how they can help them. And they physically can't do the business. And I kind of use the analogy like the Titanic. It looked really pretty, but like it's at the bottom of the Atlantic. And like that's not where you want your business to be. And it was like perfect. And it crashed on its maiden voyage, right? And it like didn't serve anybody. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure that you can start and then effectively deliver something. Like, what's the outcome that you're working towards?
Awesome. What are some of the sales strategies that you've used to grow RIMP Skills Academy?
We have been very organic. Word of mouth, peer-to-peer, showing up inside of mastermind communities, meetups, social media, like low cost, high impact. With any marketing, the quality of their response is the intent of the seller to engage with you. So, right, if I was just cold outreaching to people on LinkedIn that may be in the real estate space and said, hey, do you want to get in sales training? Like, they never were seeking for it. So I have to then communicate with them extensively, teach them about what we do, understand what they do, and it's a long journey. So like when you're new and nimble and you don't have a bunch of people and time is a limited commodity, you have to get as close as you can to the people who are ready or seeking for a solution that you provide. Like regardless of who that is, right? Like everybody wants social media, content and reels, but if you found somebody that doesn't have an account set up yet or any following, they're further away from being ready to do business with you. So then you have to nurture them and teach them and educate them. And it takes, I think they say up to 8 hours now of people to build trust. So like they have to watch you and be in your purview and sphere for a long time. So as close as you can get to those people who need your service is where you want to spend your time.
Fantastic. So obviously you launched RIMP Skills Academy as a new product. Now you started doing, the different things to kind of really able to serve people. For any businesses that are out there that now have their product and now that needs to start promoting it and getting clients and reaching new people, what would be the first thing that they need to do to start gaining traction?
Let more people know who you are. It starts with awareness. And then, right, it gets to engagement after that. So they have to be aware of who you are. I don't care whether that's paid marketing, free marketing, social media marketing. You have to create the awareness, and then you have to create engagement. So like, cool, like, what do I want them to do? Do I want to DM? Do I want them to comment? Like, do I want to reach out to them? Do I want a phone call? So it's just creating more of that interaction is key. So a lot of that comes through the cheapest and best way is social media. Everybody consumes it every day. Like you can show up, you can build your avatar, your audience, like the lookalike audience is all the things of the people you want. So that seemingly is one of the quickest and most cost-effective ways.
Yeah. One other thing that I've noticed recently is Benmont Locker, and as a follow-up to what Leon Barnes said, and his big
just
head.
came to my mind. He's like, oh, big head Benmont shows up.
That's what I was thinking. One other thing that you started doing more recently is to post more frequently on social media.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that strategy and why you started to post more and connecting with people?
So again, that's like getting out of your own way. If I want more people to know what we do, I have two options. One, tell them on a free platform, or B, pay to get in front of them. And I'm trying to figure out the cold traffic thing. I generally don't love the experience of cold traffic. And it's because of how much volume it takes and how much frequency and interaction that it takes. So I cheated. I said, hey, I don't want to do the really, really hard, expensive work. And I got over the fact that I don't love walking around like holding my camera up, filming myself. But I have learned that if I can help one person on there, that's awesome. I made a little post the other day where it's like, do I want to go viral? Maybe, sure, right? Like, would I stop a video from going viral? I don't think I say anything that's going to go viral. However, I get the same fulfillment out of 3 people that comment on it, 2 DM me, and 1 jumps on a free call with me, and I move them further ahead in their journey. Like, that's impactful to me. And that's like the whole thing when we talk about community or education or coaching, whatever you want to call it, is about the impact and outcome that you can make on somebody. And I can create that pretty easily on social media.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talking about that specifically, have you seen an improvement by being so consistent on social media, or have you started getting more deals or anything like that from it yet?
So there's a direct correlation to frequency of posting and the responses that you will get. So like, I mean, smartphone, they show you everything. So it's like you see your views go up, you see your interactions go up, you learn what people like that you do and they don't do. Like, again, the good news is they tell you what to do. So following that, I've been able to have like crazy increases over time. And again, we're little old me here that lives in Safety Harbor, right? We're not doing huge things on social media, but I've increased to like 100,000 views in a rolling 30-day period with like 90 days of consistency on social media. I gained like a follower per post. And generally, I get 3 to 5 sales consult calls a week from social media.
That is fantastic.
So it's consistent. And like, if you don't have those 5 consult calls as a coach now or a creator now, and you're like doing all these other things, hoping that somebody calls you, that's your hack. Like, go consistently make posts, minimum of 2 a day. The algorithms start to like that. No, not all the same people are going to see the same post, so they're not going to get annoyed with you and block you. And then, yeah, you're going to say something at a point in time that resonates with where somebody else is today, tomorrow, and they're going to say, hey, man, I think that guy can help me.
Yeah. What advice would you give to some people that are afraid of posting on social media or that are unable to do it consistently?
Come hang out here, spend an hour staring at 27 cameras with lights in your face, then your phone screen doesn't seem so bad. Yeah, it's like, you don't have to overproduce it. I think we've learned as of recent with AI and all of the things that are taking over technology now, the best content is just from your phone, from a casual setting and a real message. So just share what's on your mind. You don't need to be weeks ahead and have scripted frameworks. It's like, what happened in your day-to-day that you think somebody else is encountering today? How did you overcome it? And what's the message and takeaway that somebody else might relate to?
Yeah, I'm actually going to expand on that a little bit. There's like 4. This is a new strategy that I've learned from a great friend of mine that has helped other people make $500 million. And he does a lot of like, marketing for people like Russell Brunson's and, these types of people. But there are 4 buckets for like, social media posts. And the first one is problem solution video. The second one is philosophy video. The third bucket is day in the life. And then the fourth one is the actual ad. So a lot of people, they focus on like, producing the fourth bucket, which is ads and stuff like that. But the problem solutions are really great because that's kind of building affinity and relationship with people when you're posting those problem solutions. Problem, solution.
Yeah.
And do not sell on those specific things. And
information,
just like provide as much information as you can. But also the third bucket to alludes to what you're just talking about, like, taking your cell phone out and do these types of videos. That is really great because you're showing the day in the life, which is like very a great way to be able to connect with those people, because they are not only seeing you in a beautiful setting like this, but seeing, the other aspect of it. Is, in my opinion, is very important to have it as a balance. Not only focusing on just like, taking your cell phone out every day and kind of doing all of that. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistake that people kind of make, because they producing all of their high value videos, like where people would pay to kind of watch them with a cell phone, versus kind of doing that just for social media.
Yeah, I think there's a place for each, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the balance is key, because you can't only just give information. I did that for a while. I got a message, it was funny, probably 6 weeks ago from somebody back in Pennsylvania. And the message said, bro, what the do you do? And he's like, what do you sell? And that's literally what the DM said, with just an F-bomb in there. And I was like, oh, like, caught my attention. And it's funny, like, as you post more on social media, I've got like a couple haters. I got like 2 or 3 haters now. So you're making it,
You're
right?
making it,
yeah. Like baby step to like hatred.
Yeah.
But if you don't take that as a little bit of, okay, cool. Like, what is the smoke to this fire that they're talking about? And it was just that. I was like really good because I'm not salesy. So I was really good at giving the information. I forgot to tell people what I did and to sell something.
Yeah.
So now I was just creating a bunch of entertainment.
Yeah.
That people were solving solutions with and being helped, and they never bought anything from me.
Yeah. And you have to limit the access to you too. If you provide too much of yourself on social media and provide too much content, why people would be willing to buy from you? Because they get all the information.
Yeah. Joe and I did that. We ran a 3-day virtual webinar teaching novations. Everybody left on day 3. 100% knew how to do everything. We sold 0. We filmed it's like 12 to 15 hours of live content to over 100 people. Our retention rate was through the roof because everybody was getting so much value.
Yeah.
They literally needed nothing from us at the end of it. And that was the first and last one of those we did.
Yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk says it perfectly. Job, right hook.
Yep.
You need to provide content. You need to provide great value to people, but every so often you need to post that video that tells people about what you did and what is the next step.
Yeah, it's like, let's go. Let's get this thing going now. So,
yeah.
And it's so funny because I think with the sentiment of like people, technology, and information now, people are through the inspiration phase. The majority of people that I encounter, like they don't want to be inspired. Right, the majority of people like in my sphere and the quality of human beings are already inspired and driven people.
Yeah.
So like, go watch a Goggins video, right? Like we've all seen them. I've yet to go running in the rain, yelling at myself with like a weighted vest on. It like inspires me. I like it, but like I need what's next.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, cool. How does that translate? So get beyond inspiration, and now it's like translation to like, what could this do for my day?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's like, okay, awesome. Make yourself available, as we kind of just discussed, to help. So it's like people are willing to pay. It's amazing how quick like people will pay to solve a problem. And if you're not doing those things, and that was my original point of how to get, it's like get your idea, get situated, and then be able to serve and or fulfill. And it's like be ready to sell something. It sounds bad, but like sales isn't a bad word. All right, exchange of value and for money and time, whatever you want to call it. But you have to be able to then complete that journey and like close the loop on giving them what they want and allowing them to pay you for it.
Yeah, for sure. And you're talking about sales process and all of that. One of the, I guess, buckets or sales process out there is, I think it's like 4 different things: awareness, consideration, decision, and there is one more. And there is different types of videos for each of those phases that you need to create. And that doesn't mean that you need to focus on awareness, providing tons of value. At that same time, you need to post videos that are on the consideration and decision bucket, like testimonials of like the things that you're doing, or the sales ad that you kind of posting. So it's not, you don't just need to focus on providing value, but just kind of, if you don't do that, you're not gonna grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go back to what you said earlier. When you were first starting Rimp Skills Academy, you had everything, and then you had a list of videos that you basically like brought here and shot here. What was that process like, and why did you decide to do it that way?
So I think the foundation was the stickiness of the piece. Like our call to actions, right? I'll expose myself, but like they were all, do you think you should get more out of your leads? Do you not have enough time to train your sales team? Do you think you could be converting better? Are you losing deals? So all of those things that we could solve became the topics that we needed to provide answers or solutions for. So when we built out that, we wanted the modules to be that baseline foundational piece that we knew most entrepreneurs and mavericks aren't going to go watch, but it was for the people, for the team. So we wanted to create commonalities and like a baseline of how people spoke, what they talked about, what we referenced. So it was important that we had that. Otherwise, it was just like, hey, get on a live call for what? It was like, let's this week discuss this part of these modules. Next week is going to be this part of these modules, and so on and so forth. So it was like the foundation to what the community became. And then from there, people asked for other things, and we found loopholes and missing pieces of it. But that was like the visual and contextualized piece that we built first, and then we could like stand back and look at it, right? It was a $99 a month subscription to school where we hosted it, and then we put that information into the modules and arranged them how we wanted, and we physically could stand here and look at that thing and say, cool, does that make sense to everybody who's going to go through this community?
That's awesome. So, very important question. Why did you decide to come to the studio to film those modules instead of using all of that and creating it on Zoom?
Yeah, it's like we're good at sales. We are not good at producing, filming, directing, editing, content creation. So time is money. With a new idea, I think people will go from ideation to like, if you don't get to profitability quick, the only thing in between is burnout or like failure. So if I needed to learn all of those additional things, coming here, the value that was provided was exponentially better for us just to do that. And it compressed. It was kind of like CG, right? You could do it on your own in 3 years, or in 9 months you could figure it out. We could either have done all of that over however long it would have taken, maybe forever, or in 14 days you guys delivered back everything that was required for us to start charging credit cards and start making money.
Yeah. And one thing that you did that was so fantastic, and I would highly recommend that to anybody watching this, or for anybody's thinking about starting their courses, and it goes to the point that you're taking imperfect action. A lot of people, and I've had those people come in here, they would want to film their courses and they would want all the bells and whistles with that courses. But for you guys, the very first iteration that you guys did was very lean, beautiful quality.
Minimalist, high quality minimalist.
Yes, yeah. High quality minimalist.
Yeah.
And that was a really great way to do it. Can you explain why you decided to do it that way and taking imperfect action?
Yeah, nobody came to us and said, hey man, like your screen graphics, your these, this, that, the other things are what we're seeking. I think it's an internal question you have to ask yourself. Like, are you doing it for you or for the people who need it? And then I think there's a time and a place for it, right? Like, is this a blockbuster hit that we're producing? Or is this something that a bunch of people are going to watch one time and move on? And are we slowing down our progress by overproducing it? It's kind of like social media. Like you said, a phone's fine for certain instances. And then when you run ads, you're going to want those to perform well. Like Google probably knows when you run, or Facebook knows when you run crappy quality ads, that's not a good user experience. It's going to cost you more and they're going to convert worse.
Yeah.
So I think identifying what's required and enthusiastically ask, are you doing it for you or for the consumer? And like, is it the right thing to do? We asked ourselves that. And I don't think anyone's ever said, I wish these modules looked different, right? Like we filmed them in, I don't know, whatever K, we're up to 8K, 4K here, which far exceeds what we needed. And you guys knocked it out of the park with that. And it was totally sufficient. And it didn't take a ton of money, a ton of time, and or slow us down from getting going.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong to kind of produce that high quality video with all the bells and whistles, but that would probably like be stage 2 or stage 3 when you want to share additional information or different like graphs on screen. Sure. Or different things to deepen that relationship with those clients. But as you start, I think a lot of people make the mistake about like, spending a fortune, which I mean will be great for us, but a fortune in doing that instead of like, taking the approach, make it high quality.
Yep.
Have really good audio, because if you don't have good audio, people are not going to be able to listen to you.
Yeah,
and the message that you're going to be providing is not going to resonate with them, because they're going to work so hard to be able to capture what you're trying to teach them.
Yes.
And visuals, like you don't want any blurry webcam or blurry like videos where they are losing focus on what you're trying to teach them. So I think you guys took the perfect approach in doing that by, coming to the studio, filmed here, doing it very minimalistic way possible. And I think, I guess the next question for you, would you say that helped at all with the growth of the organization at all?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that was the foundation. Without that, I think that's what you have to identify also is like, what does done look like for you're never done. So like, what does done good enough look like to say, okay, cool, this thing is now live and we can do it. As you mentioned, there's evolutions to probably increasing production quality, refilling modules. Our stuff isn't evergreen, so it's not just going to be out there for forever. So we're constantly here. Like I've found that coming here more frequently, refilming things that we want to improve or adding additional value to has allowed us to provide more content for our community, newer content for our community, and continue to increase production quality, like has been a really good flywheel that we'll probably continue to do. Like, I mean, we come here, every couple months max now, cruise through here for a day, film content, film a podcast, work through a module, rebuild something, and go from there.
Yeah. And the next thing I'm going to say right now is, I don't think I've ever maybe said that to you, but thank you. That's the thing I was going to say. Thank you, because there are a couple of things that you have done, you and Joe have done for me that has been fantastic. The first one was you were one of the biggest inspiration for me to take some of the things that we are doing here to basically putting it in a new package. Like we were solely focused on producing the high quality courses that we could do for the clients with all the bells and whistles. But by you guys going through that process and chatting with you and the different things, that actually helped me figure out, hey, how can I produce something high quality of people, but without the bells and whistles that comes with it? And that's why like the new product that we have now, where people can come film their courses in one day, having it live switch and edited live, came to fruition. It was because of the things that you guys were able to do. And I was thinking about like ways that we can expedite that process even more, while not like, focusing on adding a bunch of graphics post and adding, still making it look super sexy and super awesome. But that was thanks to you and the conversation that I've had with you. And also because you guys went through that and had so much more success by doing it that way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, and a little bit of that was your guidance leading us to do it that way, when you're like, hey, we can do this package, or this package. And I was like, oh, like we'll go somewhere in the middle and get moving. But I think that's a really good example, because you asked yourself what consumers want. Like you were spending, I always like exaggerate just for the point, but you were spending 4 hours on adding a graphic behind somebody in a video that they probably didn't need. Did it look amazing? Yeah. Did it take a lot of time and money for you guys to produce? Yeah. Did that cost have to get handed down to them? Yeah. Did it slow things down? Yeah. So I think you had the realization that said, hey, when somebody's a course creator at home, that you're watching this is Facebook Live right now. Like if you're sitting out there, you have an idea, you have a skill set, you want to monetize it, but you're missing the course piece. Now they are 4 hours away from coming in here for a half day and leaving ready to go and make money. So you shortened the conversion time for somebody to get started. If you said, yeah, it's usually 30 days, we fiddle around with all of this stuff that we think is required, like, right, that slows the momentum down. You created something that people can literally show up here today, Gulf to Bay, Clearwater, Florida, right, get over here, and they can film today, and they could be, by the end of the day, like their content can be live, which is phenomenal. Because like time is money, and you want to captivate on people, and momentum is a huge thing. That's like a hard KPI to measure, which is momentum.
Absolutely.
and energy. So yeah, do it when like the time is right. Strike while the iron's hot.
Absolutely. And I mentioned two things. So I'm going to talk about the second thing that I have a lot to thank you and Joe for. I remember having a call with you guys, and the call was fantastic, by the way. I've learned so much from it. But one of the major things that stuck with me was a question that you asked. Hey, Jet, I'm going to send you an Excel document, and I want you to put each of the SKUs that you currently offer to anybody right now. And in that Excel sheet, I want you to put how many people it would take you to achieve this, how many people it would take to achieve the second SKU. And then while I was going through that process, the first one, okay, I say I'm going to need like 40 people to reach that goal for revenue. The second one, 4 people. The third one, 3 people. So I was like, why am I spending so much time attracting those 40 people where I could focus that same amount of effort to attract 4 people and make the same amount of money?
If not more.
If not more.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest things that you've taught me, and that I'm super grateful for, because that has kind of shifted my mind, which is the reason why now, like we are open for people to come and book the studio, but you're not going to see me going out there to kind of promote that.
Yeah.
The thing that we do, and which I'm also very passionate about, is like, having those people come here, film their courses, and we help them grow their business, by creating those types of content and doing it fast and efficient as well. So yeah, thank you for that call. I would highly suggest, if you're watching this, if you are struggling with sales and any of those kind of things, jump on a call with Joe and Benmont. They're going to be changing your life, by the way.
I was eating Chick-fil-A at the airport when we were on a call, and anybody out there, I'll sit at a computer and we'll do a screen share. But you caught us when we were on the road, and we were like, dude, we roughed you up a little bit. So apologize, but you took tough love because it was important. Just that clarity on you're an expert at doing this, and all you needed to do is kind of reposition that little value proposition and let people know what it was and what existed. And I think from this talk show, the content I've seen, your social media, that there is a reasonable amount of people coming through here, capitalizing on being able to go from where they are today to further ahead in their journey in a day to 2 days max. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm super excited for what the future holds. And I can't wait for us to kind of like, in a year with that new model to, text you guys and say, hey, this is what we've been able to accomplish. This is kind of the growth that we've seen just for that specific product. It's been so fantastic so far. Last week, we had somebody come here shooting a 6-course module and then 29 funnel videos. And then the week prior, another one filming 55 funnel videos. So without kind of like really the focus and also the partnership that we've had, we probably would have still kind of chasing our tails, like finding the 40 people, attracting the 40 people to come here and kind of do all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's not bad, right? That's kind of like low ticket to high ticket. So for anybody out there that wants to come here and create a course, like, it's okay to start with a lower value to gain some credibility, some trust, some experience, some momentum. But yeah, what you found was that you can have very impactful conversations with fewer people, do what you love to do and what you're great at, and it didn't take 40 people. And that's kind of like social media. My point earlier was like, you don't need the mass amounts of people. Your impact comes in the quality and the experience that you can physically provide here, which is very limited. I don't know of another studio around that can do what you guys do. So your messaging and your offering now matches your skill set and what you can provide, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Now let's jump back to Rim Skills Academy. For the people that are watching this, what exactly do you provide them? What is like a high level 100 footer or whatever they said, like of the thing that you offer to them? What is your product?
Yeah, so our core product is a group sales training community where we focus on increasing conversions and skills. And what that is comprised of is a community aspect, which is like, right, post, response, answers. So you have direct access to our team, and over 440 people, I think, are in there otherwise. So there's a lot of people going through what you're going through now and can help you, including us and the community. So community aspect is key. 2 is all of the modules. We have there's hours and hours of foundational module training inside of there to instill that foundation and those principles of what a sales process is. And then there's over 150 hours of pre-recorded calls, presentations, training guides, resources, documents that live in there. And then the third piece is our live training calls. We're up to 15 hours of fulfillment a month in all aspects. So when you talk about like how to get the most out of the academy is use the community, ask for help when you need help. Don't care if it's personal or professional. Go through the modules. There's guidance there. They're searchable. There's a call probably on any topic, question, problem you have in your business today. And then lastly is there's no longer than 2 days between a call in a calendar month. So the feedback loop is 48 hours or less that you can reach out to us live in a intimate setting where you are going to get attention and answers and continue your skill set.
Yeah. Now let's be a little bit more focused. Like, can you share one example of a topic or something that somebody would learn by going through RIM Skills Academy as a teaser?
Yeah, I think our sales process in general is a little bit unique because I see so many investors take the objective math-based path. So they calculate a deal. They ask questions like, how much do you want for the house? What are you willing to take? Like all of this surface level questions with a 3-minute-old relationship. And you get surface level answers, and then you make surface level decisions. So you paid $500 for your phone to ring from a lead. You said, hey, why do you want to sell? The person doesn't know you. They say, well, I'm just thinking about it. Right? It's like going car shopping. You loaded your family up. You drove to the car lot. And you're parked next to a vehicle. The sales guy comes out. He says, can I help you? What do you say?
I've been looking.
Just looking. But you just drove here, dedicated your time, money, and energy, and you're standing outside one vehicle out of 300. Like, you're not just looking. You just are uncomfortable with the length of time in the relationship. So people start disqualifying leads. $500. Guy said he was just looking, not ready to sell, unqualified. Cool. Lost $500. The chance at making 20,000. So we focus on things like that. Then you get into the objective calculation piece. Oh, well, a max allowable offer. Max allowable offer, everybody at home, if you run your business on max allowable offer, that equals minimum amount of profit. At best, you are saying, I'm willing to pay the most and already factored in how much money you can make. That means that you essentially don't believe in your skill set and your solution problem solving capabilities whatsoever. Because you're like, I don't deserve more than this. I'm going to create my own destiny and put a lid on my organization. And anything is going to be that or less than that at best, which is crazy to us. And we inverse that. We focus on the seller. We train on communication, being empathetic, and really understanding somebody's needs. You will be rewarded with a dollar sign at the beginning of it for how great you are at providing solutions to people's problems, not asking how much somebody wants for their house. So we completely inverse that. So max allowable offer we call Mayo. Ours is lowest acceptable offer. We call it Leo. So we've flipped the script on generally what sales looks like. It's a hard concept to adopt at first. Once you get momentum and get rolling, it's transformational to your business because people are like, how do you not pull comps? How do you not do this? How do you not do that? Like, you don't need to pull comps when you solve problems. And with money, when you solve problems, you can fix a lot of things for a seller. And that creates a better, rewarding experience.
And that's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, That's So Fire.
Oh, first one of the show. Love it, love it, love it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's, and we get granular, but that's the kind of stuff we do. It's not tactical. It's not like, you don't want to arm wrestle. If your conversations at home are about price, are about finding motivation, are about qualifying and disqualifying, are about if your leads suck or if your sales guy sucks, your sales process probably sucks. And not to be mean, but the process isn't repeatable for everybody to identify if a salesperson is lacking, if they need training in an area, if a marketing channel is weak. And if you don't have that firm process that allows your company to like win, that's going to be a long journey.
Yeah. I think you may have already answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is the biggest advice, sales advice that you will be giving to somebody watching this video right now?
Yeah, it's that vibe of things we just touched on. So look at you, like we're all getting good at sales in time because sales is everything. You're always selling, right? Whether you're doing anything, you're selling yourself on social media, you're selling the studio, your services, whatever it is. So, yeah, it's in that vein of assumptively trying to decide if someone's right for you or not without knowing. I think one of the biggest misses in the industry is people asking, we call them high impact questions with a low impact relationship. The question I always ask is like, Has anyone ever called you and said, hey, Jet, I just got out of jail, caught a DUI, a couple felonies along the way. I'm in really bad shape. I only owe $40,000 on my house. It's worth $300. Give me like 60 and we'll call it a day. Like, I wish that happened, but it doesn't. And then we start asking questions that we get a response to that we don't like, and then we deter us from doing business with them. And that whole like methodology, it just doesn't pencil out. Like, you're going to get the answers you deserve. They're just not going to be the ones you ever want. And that is the gateway to like, if you will ever make money. It is the hinge on potential profit or no profit. Mm-hmm. And it's that door. And when you ask a question like that and your sales process is scripted, why are you selling the house? My husband just died. Okay, how old is the roof? And it's like, what? Like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the perception shift of understanding what your company is able to do and enthusiastically understanding how that aligns with what somebody needs. Nobody cares about the windows, the roof, the doors, any of the above. Like, what can you really do for each other? And that's a different style conversation and sales process. That's
awesome. That was pure gold over here. One thing you just mentioned, and I think I saw somebody online posting about that, and that's kind of like a complete direction over here, but have you ever sold a house with somebody in jail?
Yeah, we just did.
Maybe it was you that posted that.
So we just, we generally have like 2 deals where there's someone who is incarcerated or unable to get there. And it's funny though, we laugh lightheartedly because there's crazy circumstances happen, and that's what we are. We're solution providers. If you are a wholesaler and your entire value is on flipping paper and getting lucky, like where hope is your strategy and luck is how you make money, and only easy deals are the ones that you win, that's like you're propped up by toothpicks. When you can enthusiastically send somebody to jail, to work with attorneys, to help guide somebody who's in a bad spot and help get them out of that while like alleviating a burden, you deserve to make some money, and you have to be creative and a legitimate business owner to be able to do that. So yeah, we just went through that. We helped with some bail bonds in a recent deal. We had docs signed by a guy who was jammed up and was going to spend some time on vacation in prison. But we were able to like prevent his house from going into sheriff's sale and foreclosure and all of that stuff. So regardless of where anyone is in their tribulations or trials in their journey, you should be able to help them. And that's like really what solutions are for this industry. And that's what longevity looks like. That's why we have a team of 48 people and have been around for 19 years and have done thousands of deals. Like, it's not by the luck of just doing the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit.
That's fantastic. Since you were talking about that and using that as an example, I thought that would be a really cool story to talk about. Now, looking over the journey, the past year and a half, what is one thing that you would have done differently as you were growing Ramp Skills Academy?
Always revenue in first position. We still get distracted with stuff. We still get fancy with things and still want to design them, and it's fun. And the other day we got new backpacks and shirts, and it generated $0. I know, Joe, I'm sorry, I love you. You're probably watching this. But those are the things that you get to. Those are what I call nice to haves. And we always have to keep the need to haves as the first priority, which is revenue. Revenue, and not selfishly, like it's not for me or for our team. Revenue allows you to do those things. I want to give away the $80 North Face backpacks and the custom branded M&Ms and all of this stuff. But you can't do that if you're not profitable and thriving to do it. It's like buying a house. You can't fix, when somebody says, hey, I'll only sell to you if you fix these 37 cats, you help me move, and you pay XYZ to do it. Like, when you're only calculating max allowable offer and minimum profit, you don't have enough money to help them. So like, whatever your business or your niche is, like, profit is the fuel to being able to help or make an impact.
Yeah.
So we can have fun then, right? Like, we can do pizza parties, we can do company retreats, we can give away stuff to the community, which increases retention and fun and all of the good Google reviews and the messages we get. But we still get distracted and take revenue out of first position on days that we're tired, because it's not always fun to like be just continually pushing to build, sell, and continue revenue driving.
Yeah. I'm glad that you touched on that concept, revenue in first position. And this is probably one of the biggest takeaway that I had from Tom Kroll, who I don't know if he's watching this, at a mastermind that he was hosting about a couple months ago, revenue in first position. And I came back from that mastermind playing that in my head every single day, revenue in first position. What is that concept, and what are some of the revenue generating activities that you are doing every single day?
That's a great question. And that's something that everybody should know, because you can create a lot of noise and activity that aren't revenue producing activities, and then you can feel bad about doing things that are. So for me, we actually, just before I came down here, I was 5 minutes late, sorry. We went through a org chart revision that was more like cohort style as opposed to a traditional org chart. And one of the buckets on there essentially was sales and marketing, like all mushed into one. And that's our revenue generating bucket. From there, it goes to fulfillment and coaching. And that's like customer support and doing the calls and doing all the things. But like when you separate them out as a small team, and somebody has to be in charge of marketing, then somebody has to be in charge of inside sales and lead management, then somebody needs to be the closer, it can get confusing. And then it looks like revenue only is associated with closing. You know what I mean? But in this cohort, there's this bucket that includes marketing, organic and paid, right? Conversations, social media posts, all of the things that are the top of the funnel activities that land us in communication or on a call with people who are interested in our services. So it's like that whole bucket. So now I can enthusiastically feel good about the days where I do a bunch of content and I don't feel like I'm not doing revenue producing activities. This revenue producing activity. Hey, anybody out there that wants sales training for their team because you're not great at it, ramprei.com or comment on the live now. But it is these kind of things. I was with Tom Kroll yesterday. I was with Justin Colby in Miami last week. It takes a lot of time, but they generate awareness, and then we create engagement. So I think defining what those are for you or your business will give you clarity on them. I'm working on a new website. I actually love doing it. I like doing the graphic design and building it.
And you're good at it too, by the way.
Thank you. That didn't fall into revenue producing. And you know what I had to do was charge the company credit card on Monday and hand off the project to somebody else, because my time was better spent in this cohort bucket of marketing, sales. Nowhere in there did it said dabble with WordPress, build a custom theme, and build out a bunch of graphics. So it will give you the clarity needed to stay focused and then feel good about it.
I'm really, really glad that you say that, because a lot of the people, I guess one of the biggest mistake that they are doing is like trying to do everything themselves. They're focusing on how can I produce that. But one of the books that I really enjoy was from, I think you know where I'm headed with that, from Benjamin Hardy. It's called Who Not How.
Yeah.
It's kind of flips everything on its head, saying like, don't think about how can I produce this, but who can help me achieve that? And that's kind of what you did with the website. You're good with it, and I know that you're talented with creating some beautiful website, but that doesn't fit in the goal or the bigger picture of what you need to achieve. You find somebody that maybe at a lower rate that is also really great at that.
Correct. That
you basically give them all of that content and doing all of that. I can do a website too. And I kind of went through the same thing. I was like, should I spend 15, 20 hours to create that landing page? And then how much would that cost me? Or can I hire somebody even if they spend 30 hours on that and achieve it, but I pay them less? So that's the whole premise about like who, not how.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on, how I can achieve that, finding a who to help you achieve that.
And that's hard, because sometimes if you don't know how to create the revenue, it feels like you're just spending money. And I'm not saying go spend money. It's not always like, sometimes the who has to be, unfortunately, you if you're new, but you have to protect it, because you can't be the who of a website, forgetting to be the who is producing revenue and income along the way as well. So again, coming back to like the original question, there is always revenue in first position. Go sell something today and pay somebody to do the website tomorrow.
Absolutely.
There's your order of priority and your marching orders.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for somebody that are building a course or building a coaching business, what are some of the buckets, or what are some of the things that they need to have in place to launch that business successfully?
This was the topic that Tom and I talked about a little bit yesterday. He was like, tell me about your tech stack. I'm going to go tech stack 0 to 12 months. We used GetResponse, which was $149 a month for hosting, email drip campaigns, and our website. So moderate expense. We had the lowest paid Zoom account you could. And we got to a point eventually where that broke, but let's call that $100 a month. And school was $99 a month. So we had about a $250 fixed cost in there. We had some Outlook licenses as well for email. So we were like sub $500 a month generating a reasonable amount of revenue, and we stayed in there. As you notice, I didn't even say the word CRM, which like I'm a little embarrassed. Over here, we develop for people Salesforce. We use Salesforce. And on the education side, we went so lean and just worked so hard to fulfill a good service and get people in the community that we didn't have a CRM until we started building out Go High Level like last month.
Wow.
Which was kind of crazy. So those are the things. Be able to take people's money, be able to give people a place to go, to show up for whatever you're doing, whether it's a call or a webinar or whatever, and then, right, like how do you market to them and stay in communication with them to tell them about the next one?
And I'm going to put like a selfish plug over there, having really great content for when those people go for the fulfillment side of things, that they can go and watch those courses and doing all of that. That is good visual and good sound.
And you said, yeah, the audio is key. That's the worst. The visual doesn't matter if the audio is terrible. So 1,000%. And that's another good example of a upfront investment that exponentially has a forever providing return, because those 8 hours to 10 hours of content that we filmed with you day one, as we brought in 30, 40, 50 people into the community, if we had to fulfill those 8 hours for all those people as they joined, like each time, there was hundreds and hundreds of man hours that we would have had to invest.
Wow.
So that translation was like the who was you to help us not have to fulfill on repeat for every new person that came in. It was self-guided at that point. And then we just added in the live calls. So we were able to, at that point in time, only have 2 hours a week invested into live calls.
Fantastic. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I wasn't even thinking about it that way.
Yeah. So yeah, and those are all like hindsight. Right? Nobody, day one, we weren't either. We were like, oh, we need modules. But it was really like, that's crazy. People can come in here, get started without talking to us until next Tuesday.
Yeah.
When the call was, which was amazing. And they got 10 hours of value from you in this right product before we ever had our first face-to-face call with them.
That's so fire.
That's two. Count 'em.
That's awesome. So what advice would you give to anybody watching this, launching their coaching business?
Yeah, stay lean, know how to sell it, and call Jet. Get started. But yeah, it's simplicity, I think, is everything. The more complex it gets, the harder to know which direction to go. We are absolute knuckleheads when it came to the education space. Really, really good at real estate. Never built out an education community before. And right, I will toot my team's horn because it's not about me, but like we've got really good Google reviews. We get phenomenal feel-good messages every day of people that share how much they love being in the community. We have taken the burden off of 100 business owners who don't want to be sales managers and don't want to guide their team through sales training and sales process, and they just don't like it. They found the who, not the how. So it's just consolidate your efforts, stay focused, and take the first step, whatever that is.
I love it. So now we talked about the past, we talked about the present. Let's talk about the future a little bit. So what is in store for Rimp Skills Academy? What are you currently working on that is going to change the whole landscape for people in the sales industry?
Leaking secrets over here, man. So I've learned that our offering or our ascension was required. So we started with a group community style training that's one to many. That's awesome. Like we average 120 some people on every call. So if you want to come somewhere that's rowdy on a Thursday morning or a Tuesday afternoon to spice up your life, get up in there. But we found from there, so we went from group coaching, then we got into, it's proximity based. So people said, that's cool, but I have like some weird specific stuff going on. How do I get that style coaching one-on-one? So we navigated into one-on-one coaching, which is either weekly or every other week calls. And again, proximity, how much time, how much you want to see Benmont's big head or Joe's, thanks Leon. And that was a product offering. From there, that's still only an hour a week of engagement or 2 hours, you know what I mean? It's still semi-infrequent. From there, people were like, that's cool. We have more work to get done, and that's going to take 15 of these weekly calls. What can we do to do it quicker? And we said, well, I guess we could come to you, and in 2 days, we'll spend 16 hours and we'll absolutely lock ourselves in this room with whoever's required, and we build out our ramp on sites where now we come to businesses and we spend 2 days with you. And essentially that is a very pragmatic, like breakdown, reassembly of all things sales and process related to tool you up to match your revenue goals. And then we're out of there and you've got a clear roadmap. And then our latest offering was people who, again, listening to customer feedback, said, all of that is great. I don't want to do any of that. And we were like, well, that's tough, right? Me too, man. And we launched our growth partner program, where we come in for a rev share, not equity. Like, that's tough to ask people for a part of their business. We come in for a rev share deal and a fixed cost, and we take our expert team and we apply them to essentially running a segment or portion of your business. We bring in a mini integrator. We bring in support staff. We bring in our leadership team, and we work with your team on a daily basis. I'm talking daily huddles, weekly meetings, selecting marketing channels, tracking KPIs, CRM overhaul, sales process overhaul, quarterly and annual goals. And we now are invested and partners with multiple businesses, helping just be that doer of the thing now. So that's been our latest release, and that'll be what we just continue to focus on through the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you shared that, because I had that little insight when we had one of our calls.
You're always on the inside track, man.
So I'm glad that you shared that, because that actually taught me something from that call as well, which is a lot of people, they try to do everything all at once.
Yeah, it's tough.
And but you guys took a different approach. You started with the group call first, and then you didn't say, okay, where can I do all the other SKUs and doing all the other stuff? But you take some methodical approach where you focus on that, get it working, and then now you adding onto it and adding into it and adding onto it until now you have all of this offering that you can provide to people. And that's starting day one with, okay, I can do group call, I can do one-on-one, or I can do take a growth, share revenue with you.
Yeah.
But you took that methodical approach where you kind of doing it as a stepping stone, and when everything else is kind of really working well.
Yeah, because you can you can make money doing anything, right? Like some ethical, some un. But I mean, it's anywhere you apply time and energy, you can make money doing something. But then you end up chasing different things, and you have no foundation. So for us, it was like shore up the foundation. And I met a guy named Vincent, and he used a really interesting analogy where he said it's like a football game, and the majority of the people sit in general admission seats. Group coaching. One-on-one coaching was like cool, like sideline. You get like a more one-on-one experience. There's nobody in between you. And then he was like, the on-sites was like a box experience. And then the in the locker room before the game VIP experience, and you stand on the sideline of the fields. And with each one of those comes a higher level of value that you have to offer because you're asking for a lot more money. And until you perfect that, it's almost like the rite of passage to be able to do that is to say, hey, all of these people are having success. Here's what we've been able to do. Here's why we do it. And then you pick how quick and how much you want to invest into doing this. And then you kind of like choose your own journey at that point, which was a really interesting proximity-based analogy that he shared that always resonates with me in like our offering. So like, because you don't want to be saying, oh, it's a soccer game over here and a football game here, because now you're like everywhere. But it's still one thing. We're still the expert. It's our hedgehog concept. It's right. Michael Phelps is only a swimmer. He doesn't do track and field. It's like that's our gold medal talent is building sales machines. And then you just pick what style journey you want to get there to get your sales machine built.
Yeah. You touch on two different things over here that I absolutely love. And I talk so much about these things. Gold medal talent. I think Jeff Hoffman talks about that a lot.
Story he shared.
Great presentation. Two of them at the Collective Genius, which was really cool. And then the other one is the one thing. I think we had that discussion in one of our calls, but like 6-7 years ago, one of my favorite book was The One Thing. And then the other one is called Essentialism. And I actually started rereading them again, but like in one of those books, there is like a picture in there. There's like there's two circles. The first circle has a bunch of little small arrows pointing out of it. Like think about like 15 arrows pointing out from that one circle. And then the other circle had only one arrow that basically shoots through the roof. And basically that analogy explains that like when you're focusing on like 15 different things, those really short arrows that are pointing out at that main circle are not growing because you are spreading yourself too thin. You focusing on the football team and then the soccer team.
Yeah.
Versus like the other one, when you have that one circle, that is the one thing that you focus on, and you put all your energy on that and growing that, like the group coaching that you guys had. And then one that is like working really well, and that is shootings from the sky. Now you can focusing on another arrow and growing it to shoot all the way to the sky as well.
100%. Because then you can either bring in people to take over the first arrow of the thing, or you have money to reinvest and say, hey guys, this is what we're doing here, and now you go over here and do that, and you start reinvesting in the business, and you stay stable, and you keep that shored up foundation. So now that resonates really well. Even when you think you're doing a good job at doing multiple things, there's only so much time, and we're only human beings. So like it's hard to be great at a lot of things at once.
Yeah, for sure. So you talk about time, and I feel like every single time we have this talk show, I feel like we need another part. We've been probably like live streaming for more than an hour, and we typically have the live stream for about an hour. So we definitely need to have a third chapter on this.
Anytime, man.
So as we conclude this talk right now, if you had to give somebody like a 3-step process on how to grow a coaching business from 0 to 1.5 million, what would that be?
Yeah, identify your gold medal talent. What is it that you do, and what is it that the world needs from you? Be an expert at explaining that and doing it, and then a way to sell and fulfill it. Like, you will win if that's it. And that sounds simple, I'll say, or not detailed. But if I asked you today, like how bad your pain was around sales training, I could convictedly tell you what we're good at doing, and then had a way on my phone right here for you to tap your credit card. Like, that's all. I mean, that's it. Like, not to overcomplicate it, but over time it will look different. But the goal is to find somebody who needs what you have, and to be able to take money from them and then deliver a good experience. That's like the 3-point triangle. And I would say you do that on repeat until it gets boring and you get rich, or you want to do something different than that. But stay focused on it.
What I hear from that: stay focused, simplify, and revenue in first position. Not like focusing on the shiny object, and grow it from there.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Organic. Like, if you're looking for your first sale, you don't need paid ads, right? You don't need a big campaign. Like, there's somebody who knows somebody in your sphere that is that person that needs what you have.
Yeah. I guess as a follow-up question for that, obviously you've been doing everything so successfully. Have you started doing any paid ads yet?
Well, you never asked me about all the things that don't work either, Jet. So not everything is so successful, but paid ads we've just started. And interestingly enough, though, it is a journey. People who don't know you and who you're putting an ad in front of aren't looking for you. So that intent is lower, which means they need to follow you around for a period of time. You need to educate them longer. You need to nurture them. And that is a longer game to play. So we're only a couple weeks into paid ads. So Chapter 3 will disclose how that's going, but we're treating that as basically that like extension of awareness to just let more people know about who we are, what we do, with a low expectation of it going right to sale.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have to be important of. Like, don't turn on ads and just think people are magically going to click and buy something. I think that's false.
Yeah, I attended a coaching call with Tom Cole yesterday as part of the Coaching Mastermind. He said something very powerful in there. A lot of people, obviously, they focus on like, okay, I want to do ads and doing that. But paid ads work well with organic content. So it's kind of going to work hand in hand. When you're doing that, don't stop doing organic content and just focus on, paid ads. All the things that we talked about earlier, problem solution videos, providing value and doing all of that, you need to do these, and that works hand in hand with paid ads. So when you get to those people that do not know anything about you with the ads, they're going to investigate and trying to find, okay, is that guy real? That's when they're going to go to your social media, scroll down and see all the different things
Your organic proof is all you have to sell at that point. Yeah.
Exactly. And watching all of these kind of stuff, you're going to say, yeah, I can trust this guy because of the things that they're saying, and not trying to sell me, but they're providing value. The people that educate their followers, or the people that on social media are following them, are the people that basically gain that market share and that build that trust and authority with them. So
100%.
I'm glad that you said that, and I had.
Yeah, because if you lack that paid ad, where are you going to send them to, and how are they gaining that authority and trust from you? And that's where you come into play. I mean, that's what you can build. I know you guys have done. I saw the other day somebody did like 55 reels or something like that. They came in here and did that. So you can again do that quick. That's the solution. If you want to build the organic base, go pump out 60 pieces of content quick, and then you have the ability to send people somewhere as a destination, and that you have a lot of content and information to give that's valuable.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, my goal for all of that is to solve 3 problems mostly for people: time drain, costly teammate overhead, and the third one is the tech overwhelm. Like, we have this beautiful studio that can show up here, not having to buy all the gears, and all of the products that we have, and we have 3 because of the conversation that we've had, 3 things that we're going to be focusing on, primarily the courses thing, but all of these is built that somebody can come here for just one day and get everything accomplished.
So you're doing full course creation for educators, coaches, anybody that wants to do anything, regardless of copy, content, you're everything. What else? What are the other 2?
So
products?
the other 2 are like a upgrade to the courses thing.
Okay.
So one of them is coming here for 6 months of content. That is to build the trust, the authority on social media, but also kind of like, promoting your coaching or courses, or like, providing information to people to come and basically trust to build trust and credibility. Yep. So that's number 2. The third one is now, after 6 months or a year of actually doing the work, you can come and then we can create the ads for you, like the whole funnel process.
Yeah.
So you can create ads, you can create landing page VSLs, you can create the confirmation, the one-time offers, and creating that whole thing. So when you talk earlier about somebody coming here and shoot 55 videos, that was 55 sales funnel videos.
Oh, wow.
So there were like, problem solution ads. There were philosophy video. There's like regular ads, and there is a whole VSLs. There is like one-time offers, like, and creating multiple one of these. So that's what we're doing now. So the first thing, courses.
That's awesome.
Now, when you graduate from that, you want to create content, you come here for 6 months, for one day, and create 6 months of content. And then thirdly, a year down the road,
it's almost a linear journey. They should show up tomorrow, film the course, it's live, you're making money, you get going, you get 6 months of feedback, you're making revenue. Come back month 6, film 6 months worth of additional modules, content, and social media stuff that's needed to take you through the end of year 1 for more money, more conversion. And then at the end of that, you're, as Tom says, you get to a reasonable amount of revenue organically, and then come back, film the ads. That's your day 1, month 6, month 12 journey.
And that's why I love this guy so much by being a coach. Like, he just kind of took the whole thing that I was thinking and gave me a linear progress on how that works.
Everybody at home that wants to build something, there's your next 12 months for you and your path to success. It's the man right here.
Boom. Let's go. Any parting advice for anybody watching this?
Nah, man. I think for anybody interested in what we've got going on, as I shared, ramprei.com, we do a 7-day free trial inside our community that's like full access. We pop the hood on the thing. So you want to see what a community looks like, come in for a week for free. You catch 2 or 3 calls. You can see a bunch of modules, learn a bunch. I think you'll like it. But if not, thanks for stopping by. See you later. And for anybody that's in the greater Tampa Bay area, or can easily get to the Tampa or Clearwater airport, you're 15 minutes from both at best. I think that, they should reach out. And, we've had a great synergistic relationship to elevate our skill set visually to match that quality. And I think that's important in doing this. So I think that we're good resources for anybody at home that is ready to take the next step.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So ramprei.com is where you need to go to sign up for this. And also really cool, 7 days of free access. That speaks to the volume of the content that you have, because you have so much that people would not be able to consume that in 7 days.
They
That's
definitely won't
cool.
get through in 7 days. And if anybody does, I'll give you a month free if you get through 200 hours in 7 days.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, there you have it. Man, it was such a pleasure having you back again. And I know this is like, the neighborhood podcast talk show right now.
Yeah.
Feel free to come on over anytime and we'll chop it up. That was a really great conversation. So thank you so much for everybody watching this. It was such a great time today. Learned a lot from you. And I hope that you learned a ton from growing your business from zero, coaching business from 0 to 1.5 million in less than a year. Let's go, baby. It's fire.